Hello, hello, everybody. It's your good buddy Philtastic here. Welcome you back to the channel. I don't know why it took me a second to think of that. It's been a long morning. I know it's only 11, but I feel like it's much later. I'm gonna grab my sweatshirt. That looks weird here. Fanboy, how are you? It's just you and me right now, pal. I can't find my microphone. I think I left it downstairs. So hopefully this is good for everybody. But I'm gonna give everybody a little bit of time anyway. Yeah, I just had it's been a rough couple weeks, but very rough week. What's going on, Bay? How are you? How are you? I told my wife to watch your Disney video, by the way. Honey, did you watch the Disney video from Comics by the Bay yet?
No, not yet.
She didn't watch it yet. We'll have to do that afterwards. Seth11, how are you? How are you? Mr. Doug, how are you, sir? Cup, how are you? Evil, yep. My wife and the little guy are in the other room right now. Little guy got up a little bit late, so she's going to be feeding him on my behalf. I appreciate that. Let's see. Trev, how are you? You almost snuck in, Trev. I didn't see you for a second. My back went out just seconds before, literally seconds before we started here, so might be in a little bit of pain. I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes here. Already said hey to 30 minutes ago. Say hey again, it's fine. Pop in, hope you're doing well in the family. Yeah, we're all doing good right now, Doug. All doing good. Little work stuff going on, but it is what it is for now. Let's give everybody a few minutes here. Zach, how are you? Oof, my back just cracked a little bit. So you get the play-by-play. So I do have, I don't know if you count this as a pickup. Somebody actually sent me a book. I'm not even really going to give you my impressions of it today, just to give you a heads up, because I want to give it a second read. Whenever I get an independent comic sent to me, this is somebody's comic they sent to me to read. I like to give it at least 2 reads just to kind of fully absorb it. When the back goes, the day goes. Yeah, let me tell you something. I have had major back issues for many years. I used to work in a bank. Doug, you might remember Commerce Bank. They're not around anymore. And one of the big attractions to the bank was that we used to do count all your change in this machine for free. They don't do that anymore because machines weren't. They found the machines weren't as accurate as they thought they were. And long story short, one day, I'll say this: they gave you a dolly to get the bags back and forth in, because when all the bags in the machine filled up, there were about, I'm going to say, like 8 bags. And when they all filled up, the machine just stopped, and you had to get up and change it out. The dolly that they gave us was just a piece of crap. If you put more than 2 bags in, it would just fall over. And I'll say this, was in much better shape at that point. So I used to actually carry all the bags back and forth at once. And one day it just felt like there was like a splash of water on my back. Long story short, I had torn a disc, and it's better than it was, but I definitely feel it. And I didn't know that was the case for about 2 years. Buddy, he wants his breakfast now. That's right. Mom's making your breakfast. Relax, pal. Oh, she's coming over. See? He's hungry. So yeah, let me just show that one to you, I guess. Writer by the name of Severin Salier, I don't know if I pronounced that right, sent me his book, or her book. I think Severin's a man's name. Shanghai, or Sheng Cheng. I think it's pronounced Shanghai. Kind of like if you, there's 2 books in here. If you've ever watched like Mysteries of the Museum, that show. I can't think of the name, but that guy wears a pleather jacket like no one else I know. Yeah, those are those. He did a whole thing on them. Those are those whole things where, usually like in the San Francisco area, I think at the turn of the century, last century, people would go into these bars and like disappear, and they found that there were rooms where they would basically have it where you would sit down on a stool and they would push you, would basically fall through like a fake. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, Trev. You basically fall through like a trap door, and then they would sell those people off to slavery. To be honest with you, but I'm not going to give you my impression of that book yet. Again, I want to give it another read, and I want to talk to the creator a little bit because they wanted me to post about my impressions, but I would see if they want to have a discussion, kind of like we did with Pat Hickey back in the day from Legacy Comics. So I'm not going to talk about that one too much. I will show you though what I did read. That was my sole pickup, I guess you could say, for the week. And then there's a topic I want to discuss. It's on my mind. 8 Billion Genies, number 7. Yeah, I know you're saying this probably came out a while ago. Again, I'm behind. If you're new to the channel, just get used to it. I like the book. I felt like at first like it was kind of rushing a little bit, to be honest with you. Rushing to a conclusion, I should say. But in retrospect, I was thinking about it more this morning. I understand they only have one more issue left, and to be honest with you, if they're doing what I think they're doing, whereas you're seeing these people are now less reliant on the genies, I think they're doing a good job of it. What I think I'm going to do is when the next issue comes out, I don't know if it's out already, I'm going to read that, and maybe if I have the time, who knows, I'm going to go back and just kind of read the series in one sitting, or one or two sittings, why don't we say, and just see if my theory kind of holds right on that. But again, at first I thought it was like, I had to think about it a little bit more because, okay, how do you end this kind of big story? I don't even want to comment at this point yet and say, hey, there was maybe one or two extra issues that didn't really need to be there, because I really want to see how it wraps up and then look back in retrospect. 2023 Stormbreakers sketchbook. Oh, Billion Genies had some massive time jumps. Yeah, and you know what? The only problem I have in general, though, with time jumps is I feel like you're missing out on a whole lot of stuff. But in terms of the scope of this story, I think it works pretty good. I'm not going to see that until the issue number 8. I don't know if that's out already, Cup. Let me know. Because it looks like it's going to take like a century long jump. But I don't know if I'll be at the LCS next week. Hopefully we'll see. Heard it kind of got silly with the superhero part. Yeah, I mean, and that was my general impression. But my thought is, at least at this point, it was kind of like, well, people wish for things that they think they want, not necessarily what they need. And now you're kind of coming out on the other end of this, where you've had the generation that was born with genies and maybe have not used their genie yet. So there's kind of less of a focus on let me make a wish, that type of thing. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing where the next issue goes. And like I said, I'm going to reread the whole thing. I'd like to. Why don't we say that? Because I still have a big stack to read. But I did kind of like the approach of, hey, here's a story that is not a big action sequence or a big superhero story, or even like your typical kind of indie, I don't know how to describe it, kind of coffee shop story. I couldn't get into 8BG. Yeah, I've heard that from some people. Issue 8 is out in April. Okay, good. So I'm not behind for once. You good, pal? Okay, he likes his bananas. Okay, 2023 Stormbreaker sketchbook. I'm just showing this to you. I didn't actually read this. I kind of flipped through it. Sometimes I read these just because I like a little bit more of the... I felt like in the past they got a little bit more into somebody's style, what they appreciated and whatnot. I think I read just a couple of the interviews in this, and I wasn't like overly impressed, but I did take a look. Yeah, I mean, the problem I have with any book that gets too hyped, I think that, and this is, I guess, a little bit of the FOMO train, people who normally wouldn't pick up the book if it weren't hyped up. Not to say that you would or wouldn't. Um, just like pick it up and then like, oh, this isn't the story that I thought it was. And I kind of fell into that in retrospect when I was collecting as a kid in the early '90s, particularly with the Image books. I look back now, like I had issues of Wetworks, Stormwatch, Tribe to a lesser extent because I got into that older. But I mean, if I wasn't on the Image train, I guess you could say as a kid, I probably wouldn't have picked up those books. Yeah, I mean, in general, I like Elena Casagrande. I'm just double checking the names here. I really liked her work on Black Widow. At the end of the day, to be honest with you, I'm kind of past the point where I'm going to pick up a book because I like a new artist. Maybe Mike Del Mundo might be the only kind of asterisk in that, and I wouldn't say he's a new artist. So. But Nick Klein, I like his Black Panther. I don't know that I've seen a whole bunch of his other work, to be honest with you. I have to go and look. And the names are familiar. Lucas Wernick, I think, is good. Not my favorite, but I think he's good. CF Villa. I mean, these are all great talents. And I mean, look, I know this is just a promotional book, basically meant to kind of move their stuff in the future. It is what it is. I like to keep the giveaways. I even have, when I was going through my collection, I forgot I had, like, if you remember the Daily Bugle inserts they used to give out at the shop, and those little kind of cardboard things Marvel used to have for their events. Hey, Durs, how are you, sir? Okay. Next, I read She-Hulk issues 9 and issues 10. Yeah, the She-Hulk has been more of a non-traditional story, and I think that's kind of taken people off guard a little bit. I think 11 is out already. It's a good kind of, you can see the story winding down. I don't know how much further this particular title is going to be going on. I enjoy it. I kind of like when, I'll show you again, and I did get the variant. It kind of snuck in there because I didn't realize that it was issue 10. I mean, the artwork's been solid. I like the story. It's not the best, but I do like it. Oh, okay. Thought he was talking about. I thought he was talking about the She-Hulk art. I was like, yeah, I like it too. Then I just saw Zach's comment. Hey, Paul. Yeah, I've been liking it. It's not your typical superhero story. I wouldn't even say, if I had to compare it to a prior She-Hulk run, I would say it's kind of similar to Dan Slott's, minus a lot of the kind of quirkiness or the humor of it. This is more of kind of like, I don't want to say more down to earth approach to it because you do have some superhero stuff in it, but it's a different tone entirely. Bottom tier. I need to get on She-Hulk. I like all the fourth wall and jokes in my comics. I'll be honest with you, it's not as jokey as prior runs, but I would say definitely check it out. Really the best way to jump in at this point, if you don't want to go in all in and invest in the issues that have been out already, I would say if you have the Marvel Unlimited app, check it out. Maybe I don't know if there's anything collected yet. Well, you good, pal? I was hoping it was John Byrne's run for 2023. Yeah, John Byrne. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, totally different approach, and I think it's because you've got a different writer on it. Rainbow Rowell definitely has a different voice on the book. I've only read a little bit of Byrne's run. To be perfectly honest with you, Slott's has been my favorite. Again, this is good. A different flavor than Slott, though. Okay. Next up, I'll do this one and I'll take a break to see what you guys want to discuss. And I have more to show you too. I did a good amount of reading this week. I didn't realize it until now. Thanos Death Notes. I know this has been out for a long time now. I think my LCS ran out, and then in between my visits, kind of picked up more of them, and that's why it was thrown in now. Hey, Doctor, how are you? Kenneth, hi. Silver Knight, Yeah, definitely a different flavor for Shulky. That's the best way to put it. I think that's an apt description. Look, it might not be for everybody. That's perfectly fine. That's why I say, if you're like, I need to read that, if you haven't read the character before, if you don't have appreciation for the character, not to say that you do or don't, of course, I would say try something online first, maybe. Um, so I'm not reading the current Thor run. I have, I think, one issue of it. Um, so I didn't know a lot of what they were ramping up with in terms of with Thanos. I also wasn't as familiar with a lot of the older stories. Like there's a story that connects directly into Thanos' first appearance. Um, anthology books I always find to be a mixed bag. You have some great stories and some that are like, oh, okay, well that happened. This one was one of the better ones. I have to say that there weren't too many stories that I was like, eh. Um, I really liked, and I'm just flipping through it so I remember here. There's a story here from J. Michael Straczynski. Is this his first return back to Marvel, by the way? Does anybody know? I loved his Spider-Man run, except for the dreadful um, Gwen Stacy storyline he did. I even liked One More Day. I'm the one guy who liked One More Day, but yeah, I don't think I've seen him in a Marvel book since. I might be wrong on that. I know that he stopped for a while. He was doing some screenwriting. Um, Actually, if you've seen, I believe I might be wrong on this. If you've seen the Angelina Jolie film, The Changeling, I believe he wrote that. Neil, how are you, sir? Yeah, I really liked his story here. With it was kind of a flashback of a young Thanos, and I really appreciate how Jeff Shaw, the artist, I don't know that I know his work offhand, but seems kind of like a Mike. Okay, here's a mispronunciation coming. A Mike Diodata kind of flavor to it. I'll show you something here. Mi, how are you? Yeah, it's kind of that flavor. I like how they are trying to show a youthful Thanos story, and there's been some flashback stories before. I like Jason Aaron's limited series. I can't think of the name of it, but it was Thanos Origin from a couple years ago. But I like that they made him look like Thane, or closer to Thane, Thanos' son from, I think it was the Hickman run of Avengers that we saw. He popped up again in the solo series for a brief moment before Donny Cates jumped in. But I like how they have that reference back to him. They made it look like him. I'm gonna warn you, if it's your first time checking out this channel and you don't like little kid sounds, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Kyle Starks, whom I don't know, but Ron Lim I know, of course, legendary penciler. He has an okay story in here. Thanos basically going to this bar at the end of the universe. Um, you know what it is? The only part I have to say I didn't really appreciate about this. Yep, we're all good. Thank you, sir. Would have been here at the start, but was making a VR for the host himself. Ooh. I can't wait to check that out. Neil, remember to tag me. And we'll get into that in a second, too, after this. But yeah, remember to tag me so I know to include it in the playlist, of course. Don't like Baby-tastic, go elsewhere. Exactly. Yeah, I think the only thing I didn't really like about the anthology on this was that, like, they have, I guess, Thor going back and discovering these stories, and it's like you have Thanos's, I guess, like an old office or something. Like they're looking through file cabinets. Like, I don't know. I can't picture Thanos as a guy who has files. I don't know. That kind of struck me as weird, but I don't know. Look, that's a um, minor kind of flaw, if anything. I mean, if you like Thanos, it's something you might want to pick up just for your collection. If you're just kind of okay with Thanos, if he's not your favorite, but of course everybody knows him from the films, I would say it's worth at least to read digitally. But I enjoyed it, especially for an anthology. And I just noticed this too. If you if you want to be a goofball, you can just here. Look, Thanos is now the host of the show. I've had very little sleep, so there we go. And I've had some coffee too. Not enough, but we're making it there. I'm going to pause for a second. Tell me what you guys are reading. In the meantime, I'm going to give you, I guess, a mini update with the subscriber giveaway, the 200 subscriber / 2-year giveaway. And I appreciate everybody who put 200 / 2 into that as well. I appreciate everybody, but I thought that was nice that people paid attention to that. We've had a couple good entries already. I think everybody's been pretty good. The charity event I'm still working on. I actually wanted to message the gentleman. That's my connection to the charity earlier today. I didn't hear back from him. So I'm going to give him another week. If I don't hear back from him again, I'm just going to use our backup. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and take a look. 3 Good Nerds. I think, did I say hi to you before? If not, I'm saying hi to you again. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go back in some of my videos. There is a VR announcement. And I like that everybody, a good number of people jumped into that VR video, I think because of the giveaway, to be honest with you. But I just like the idea of kind of sharing what else you watch besides comics, because, hey, look, there's a whole world outside of that. Honey, wait, don't turn the, okay. I was going to say don't turn the water on. Do you want to share with people what your favorite non-comic YouTube channels are?
I think you mentioned it already. Or very much.
You have other favorites, I know.
I've been watching a lot lately.
Well, let me ask you, do you want to tell people here now, or do you want to maybe do your own VR? You don't have to be on camera right now.
Can't really think of anything that I recommend.
I could think of other things that you like to watch. Vivian.
Oh yeah, Vivian Travels.
Bobby. I didn't go into Bobby.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. But Neil, if you win, you're gonna win. So.
What about your freaking review guy?
Freaking Reviews. I like him. He's not my favorite, but I like him.
I thought you liked that.
I do. I mean, I also like Tom Segura. Like, I kind of excluded the comedians that I like to watch. Like Tom Segura's channel, I think is great. Your Mom's House.
Yeah.
I love. My wife hates this. I love Chris DiStefano. His show that he does with Sal Vulcano. What is it called? I can't think of it. Hey Babe. And Sal Vulcano does another one, the food one. I can't think of any either. Again, I'm very tired. Angry Video Game Nerd. I've been watching a little bit of Too Evil. He's pretty good. I like RGT85 as well. Trying to think if there's anybody else I watch regularly. Oh, Emily D. Baker. I've been watching a lot. I started watching her. She's, if you don't know, a legal analyst. Usually tech-based or how to. Yeah, I mean, that's. I'll be honest with you. I'm not handy, but I have installed and changed our water filters for our RO machine strictly because of YouTube, because the company's videos were terrible. Yeah, same. And I always feel bad because there's always, I feel like, people wanting VRs at the same time. So I feel like it's kind of like a feast or famine type of thing. But yeah. Yeah, no, RGT I like a lot. I'm trying to think. The only other game channels that I really enjoy, and I haven't watched it too much lately, is Switch Planet. We have a Switch. Buddy, what are you doing to me? Your mom's getting your oatmeal now. Relax. Yeah, and I haven't watched a whole lot of them because it's more previews and sales, and I don't buy as many games as I watch, I guess. Okay, bottom tier, enjoy your day, man. But let me show you now the rest of what I read, and then I have another topic I want to discuss. Hey, buddy, you want to say hi to everybody? Is that it? Okay. VRs are extra content for your channel, so it's a win-win. Yeah. Miles Morales Spider-Man. I know this one came out a while ago. Yeah, I used to read Miles pretty heavily. I stopped shortly after Bendis left, talking Star Wars with my son. No worries. No spoilers. We didn't watch the most recent episode of Mando yet. Um, yeah, I kind of jumped off of Miles after Bendis left. I just felt like it was a natural jumping off point. I picked up a couple issues, I think, here and there. This, as you know, I love soon. I think he already has. um, I love Mike Del Mundo, and I saw him making this. I guess you could say like the making of on his website. Um, I'm a far righter, so there's no end to that content. Okay. Um, Story wise, it was just okay to me. I think maybe Miles has kind of gone past me a bit, and that's perfectly fine. Um, you know, like I think that there were some good things in it. I kind of found myself, I don't want to say bored, but maybe just because I've been away from the character, I was a little bit less invested in this story going on. Artwork, I found kind of, I don't know, in the action sequences, it worked for me. The interior artwork I'm talking, but not so much in the more kind of quiet sequences. It's something maybe I would read again online. Future issues. It's not going to be coming to my pull list, though. As you may know, I'm keeping my pull list very lean. But yeah, I liked it. Wasn't my favorite. I don't know. Evil. Does it like catch up or not catch up? Does it speed up maybe a little bit afterwards? Like I said, the first, and I'll say this, by the way, something I noticed, the quality of, let me see if it's all the paper or just a couple places. Yeah, no, I felt like the quality of the paper in this, especially for a Marvel book, was awesome. I was shocked how good it was because, I mean, look, I don't have to tell you guys the paper has not been great in Marvel books for a while. Um, but yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, his only channel that well, actually, I shouldn't say that because I'll be honest with you, and this is to everybody who I watch. Like when I'm up here watching, I usually have YouTube running on in the background just when I'm working, just because I can't work in silence. But when I'm up here, like having lunch or even at the end of the day, if we're watching a channel, he's on my lap, usually watching. And in general, he likes YouTube because I think he thinks that, talking to the camera, that I think he thinks you're talking to him. Other than that, he really likes Miss Rachel, which, if you don't know, you don't have kids, I guess. But yeah, he likes his stuff too. But it's just that first issue. All the other issues on that, bad paper. Yeah, that's disconcerting. I thought they were kind of breaking the trends, but oh well. Shane, how are you? How are you? Shane is a dead to be, by the way. If you don't know, you got to check out his channel. I think everybody here knows everybody at this point, but if not, yeah, definitely got to check out Shane. I also caught up on my Wolverine reading. Um, Here's one that's, I'll show you. This was one that's a little unfortunate. I had read this one already, but again, because it was a variant, it kind of threw me off. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really particularly care for this variant. Um, this is from Chrissy Zulo. I like her artwork in general. It's just not my jam. And this cover, especially, I felt like the tone is just off. So we'll put that one aside. But fast forward, maybe I'll put that in my giveaways. We'll see. I did read Wolverine issue 28, 29, and 30. Yeah, I've been saying that I really love Ben Percy's Wolverine and X-Force run. And these things are finally kind of coming to a head here. Um, it really does, and I've said this before, but it really does feel like the closest to a Larry Hama run that I've seen Wolverine. Um, yeah, really, I think this is the best he's been in at least, I'm going to say 20 years, my opinion. And I like how you kind of see Beast finally taking that heel turn. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're a lapsed Wolverine fan or if you just haven't checked it out, that's a title I recommend picking out, definitely. Just a whole lot of fun. Well done, consistently well done. And yeah, I mean, I feel like some purists for the X Men might not like it because, yeah, Beast is a pretty bad guy, at least for now. Again, I'm not into the Sins of Sinister yet. I'm still catching up. Maybe things change, but we'll see. Yeah, and you know what kind of strikes me as odd is that a lot of these indie titles I'm picking up, not even Image, but like the one I showed at the beginning, the Shanghai. Um, yeah, I mean the paper quality blows Marvel and DC out of the water. DC's not alone in this, but Marvel's, yeah, it's been consistently worse paper, and I'm kind of curious to see. Um, awesome, Shane is a very good guy. I enjoy his stuff a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe some of the earlier stories kind of suffered because, and not, I shouldn't say stories, but the title itself suffered because I felt like people thought you had to jump in with all the X Men books. And to be honest with you, that's how Hickman presented it. But I think after Ten of Swords, the books kind of gradually got away from being so interconnected. But yeah, Wolverine has been consistently a fun read. If you loved Wolverine, especially in the 90s, I think you'll like this title a whole lot. Maverick was a big part of it, even though he was kind of a dick, to be honest with you. Yeah. Again, I haven't jumped into it yet. I think I have some of the early issues to read yet. This was only like half of the haul I picked up a couple weeks ago, not even. So I still have a lot of reading to do, but I'm looking forward to it. You know, what comes after with, I might be jumping out of X Men almost entirely, just save Wolverine and the regular X Men title. After Krakoa is over, which is probably going to be this summer, from again, just from what I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Okay, the last two books I've read this week, Monstrous number 42 and Monstrous number 43. Monstrous has been consistently a title I look forward to reading since I've been getting it, since the first issue. The art in this is just tremendous. And if you've seen me do, I'm going to show you a great page if I could remember which one it is. If you've watched me talk about Monsters before, I'm not telling you anything new. You know, it's something I highly recommend at this point because, I mean, we're 43 issues into it and it's starting to end. They've been saying that a while, but I think they're finally there. Yeah, like look at some of the detail in this. It kind of reminds me of if you've played like the Final Fantasy games, especially back from the 90s, like that type of artwork. And I feel like I'm referencing the 90s a lot lately. But oh well. Look, I'm a kid of the 90s. It's when I grew up. What are you going to do? I feel like if you wanted to jump into this, it would be an uphill battle because it is a very intricate story. Um, a lot of stuff now that happened in the first issue here, 42, 43 issues later, uh, you're just getting the impact of. It's Zach, it's monstrous. This is Marjorie Liu and Senna Takeda. And it's very, very involved. I'll say that. Yeah, at this point, if you wanted to jump into it, I don't know if they've put out. I don't know that they put out trades. I think they did the first couple of arcs. I would definitely, dive into that way. Dive into it that way. I know the last time I was at my library, I think they actually had a couple of volumes on the shelf. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, I mean, this isn't something that's the only kind of drawback is you have to you can't just jump into it at any point. Like you really, I think, have to go back to the beginning to understand what's going on. But yeah, No, it started before 2021. Um, are you yeah, no, and the only reason I know that is because the one signing I've been to at Midtown was pre-COVID. I want to say it was 2018. I went with my buddy Mark, and we that was just a little bit after the series launched. It was Marjorie Liu's signing. That's a whole other story. I wanted to get into for another day. Um, Last thing I wanted to talk about. I'm planning to do a little something with this week. I've talked about in the past um, how both Marvel and DC they'll do these variants for. They do have trades on Amazon. Okay, yeah. I mean, pick it up. It's. I'll say this. It's a dense read. Yes, more bananas indeed. It's a dense read. It's one that you can't just like read while you're watching TV or listening to music or something. It is something you have to really invest your attention in, but it's well worth it, at least in my opinion. Um, I've talked about in the past how I feel a certain way about Marvel and DC doing um, ethnicity based variants. Hey, Dope, how are you? Um, is that the buzzer? Or are we no? um, in my opinion, like, look, if you like a variant, you like a variant. I just think, ooh, Manny, hope you're feeling okay, man. Feel better with that. Yeah, you know what it is too, Evil. I know that they've taken breaks in between. I didn't realize it was 2015 though. Yeah, they'll take like a 6 month break just to kind of catch up because Takeda's work is very intricate, as you could see. But yeah, it's definitely a great read. Um, yeah, I feel a certain way about the ethnicity variants. Look, if you like how a variant looks, that's perfectly fine. I'm not telling you what to do. It's just, in my opinion, if Marvel and DC is going to say, "Hey, we're selling an Asian History Month variant," and they're putting money in their pocket, which they are, give a little bit of that money towards maybe a charity based in that ethnicity. That's just my opinion. That's why I feel a certain way about doing it. But here's the thing that kind of really gave me a little bit of a tinge, and I'm kind of reserving judgment a little bit. But Marvel put out a big kind of press release on their website, at least yesterday. Might have been Thursday. Days are kind of blending. Um, they're going to be doing a George Perez tribute, a bunch of George Perez variants in I think June or July. So basically, from what I understand, they haven't shown off a whole lot of them. Some of his old artwork and just making that the cover. They did it, with the Jim Lee X-Men cards, and they wound up doing their own kind of takeoff on those as well. The thing, and I understand they have his wife's blessing. Um, I would really like it if they took some of the profits from that and put it towards unused works. Okay, good, thank you. I would really like it if they took some of the profits from those variants and maybe put those towards something like the Hero Initiative, or maybe towards pancreatic cancer research. And look, this isn't unheard of. I understand that Marvel needs to make money, okay? But riddle me this: Marvel owned by Disney, correct? Recently, one of the channels I mentioned actually in my VR, my setup for my own VR, I guess you could say, um, I mentioned Ordinary Adventures, the couple who goes to Disney like almost all the time. Yeah, Evil, perfect. I would say do it. But yeah, one of the things they showed, they were in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge during Pride Month, walking all around, and they had special Disney Pride T-shirts, and in the inside label of the T-shirts, there was like a label: "Hey, with the purchase of this shirt, we give money towards Pride-related charities." Great. Okay, Marvel, why don't you take a page from Disney, your parent company, and do the same thing? It almost seems like some of the places doing like this because they feel they have to. Maybe not so much as they actually believe in it. Yeah. Um, oh, what's this? Hold on. His missus would have made sure they did a donation if she let them do it. They did mark. yeah, they did mark her name in the article. Like there was a quote from her, and it was, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I thought it was something like she loves the chance of continue the legacy or something like that. That kind of struck me as odd too. And I wouldn't be surprised if between now and then they do turn around and say, hey, we're going to throw a little money at the Heroes Initiative. If they're doing it, I would like if they mention that a little bit more up front, to be honest with you. And only because, look, they both Marvel and DC did that with the JLA Avengers reprint. Um, See, here, the way I look at it, I don't think it's so much virtue signaling as it's more, hey, we want to put money in our pockets. And look, this isn't something that's just a phenomenon just in comics. I've seen, look, we just had Black History Month in February. How many, like, I'm trying to think, I think DoorDash had like a Black History Month banner on their app. I might be wrong on DoorDash. But the point is, I was like saying to myself, what are you're just using this kind of social cause to really put more money into your pocket. Look, if you're donating monies to those charities, whether you agree with the charities or the causes or not, great. And I say it like that because if there's something that I don't particularly agree with, and let's say you're donating money to something I don't agree with or don't care for, okay, maybe I don't buy that product just for that month or whatever. If I feel that terribly about it. But I don't know. It's just food for thought. And yeah, I mean, look, I do know it's something that's prevalent everywhere. It's just, I don't know. I think it's something that we all need to keep our antenna up about, myself. All right. I'm out of stuff to discuss. Tell me what you guys are reading this week. Or, I don't know. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal out of variants, but you tell me. I'm going to stop and drink because I'm thirsty. Does he have his bottle already?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's got his bottle. That's why he's been quiet. All right, I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds. Anybody want to discuss whatever you guys want to do? Okay. So I'm going to wind everything down now. Yeah, I plan on doing it at the very least a short. I don't know. I want to do a little bit more research on this one. So maybe look for that maybe this week, if not next week. Again, I'm going to get back to everybody with the charity. Nothing but cat variants. Dare sent me a copy of Vanish that everyone says is pretty awesome. I haven't read Vanish myself. It's just, I'm not necessarily looking to jump too much into new titles at the moment. Like I said, I've slimmed down my polls a lot this past year. You can go back and see me talk about that on prior videos. Maybe it's something. Yeah, Manny, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you saw. I think I mentioned it in my last video. Um, I went to go edit it, and it was just not good. And a part of it was the little guy, but it definitely threw me off, and I got some facts wrong. So maybe I'll do that one this week too. Yeah, Cardiac is my favorite Spider-Man kind of. I know it'd be generous in saying a B level, we'll say a C level character, but I think he's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a good thing, but like I'm at the point in my collection, and I think you might be getting the impression of this during my Love and Comics episodes. My collection, I'm definitely looking to slim down. So, and that's part of the giveaways too. So that's right. The giveaways are coming directly from my collection. Um, so yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. I appreciate everybody for stopping in. Stay tuned because you will see more stuff come out about the 200 subscriber giveaway. Again, we're going to run that until the end of April. In case you didn't see the update, just because I didn't realize how quickly April was coming. So you have a chance to win a bunch of comics, original art from me, I should say, not from other people I've collected it from me. Um, that's funny. I didn't know he made that book, a book rather. Um, yeah, so stay tuned for more stuff. And I appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of time this weekend. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, and I hope that you do something cool with it. Thanks again. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.